Hi, welcome to my latest video. Today I'm going to be filming part 2 of my catch can upgrade video. So in part 1 I removed the cheap blue Chinese catch can that I've been running for many years and I replaced it with this. So this is a Masso catch can available on Amazon. I think they're about £35, maybe a little bit more. And this catch can, which is very similar to the Man Hummel Provent 200 catch can, has this nice stainless gauze inside. Okay, so you can see that that has actually been catching a bit of oil. Where does this oil come from? Well, it comes from the bottom of the engine. Okay, so any gases that get past the pistons, that get by the piston rings, the blow-by gases as they call them, get down into the bottom of the engine, find their way up on this pipe here, which goes then through this sort of black box thing. Okay, they call that the kind of cam cover. Here's actually one on the bench. Okay, so it is a sort of hollow box with the kind of chamber here, and the gases come up through the hoses and then they go through, and then in here there is like a rubber diaphragm which sort of opens and allows the gases to kind of come out. Now the diaphragm's really there to prevent a very high vacuum. If ever a high vacuum built up on the inlet due to, for example, a blocked air filter, the diaphragm would close onto that and prevent that vacuum being applied to the bottom of the engine, because that could damage the seals or pull air in past the seals, aerating the oil or causing all sorts of other problems. Okay, so the flow of the gas comes out of there and it then comes up out of the PCV, which is there, the positive crankcase ventilation diaphragm, and then down here into the catch can. The oil gets separated out, that can be drained out. There's a drain hose at the bottom with a little tap that I've put in, and then it passes out through here and then goes into the inlet duct. Okay, and the airflow that comes in through the air filter, then drawn in through the turbocharger, through the intercooler and into the engine, and any sort of fumes and blow-by gas and smoke and anything else that's not caught by the catch can then ends up going round and being burnt. Okay, why do we want to remove the oil? Well, that oil ends up then coating the inside of all the ducts. It may collect in the intercooler, it may cause issues with the turbo, and eventually it will find its way into the throttle body or air control valve, which is here. And in there are some sensors. There's a manifold absolute pressure sensor and an air temperature sensor. Okay, so if those get caked in black sooty oil, then they're not going to read very well, and that could cause issues with the way the engine runs, and eventually possibly even put an engine warning light. The check engine light could come on. Okay, so I want to remove that oil, so I've put this catch can in. In part 1 I set all this up. Okay, so I kind of put these hoses I've been running for a while actually to replace the black plastic duct which leaked at this joint, hence all this black muck everywhere here. That was really the main reason for changing this duct for silicone, was to stop that oil leak, which then dripped down the back of the engine onto the hot turbocharger. So I put this silicone ducting back, and then I put in new pipes here to plumb in the new catch can. There's a few things that I want to do, because I kind of rushed the end of part 1 really. I had to get the car back on the road in a hurry, and I sort of ended up kind of just chucking it all back together, and it's been like that for a few weeks now, and it's been running fine, absolutely fine, but I just want to do some finishing touches. Okay, so these Michelor clamps on here, I've been running these for a while, and I am not sure if they're sealing properly. Okay, they look nice, they're nice marine grade stainless chunky Michelor clamps, but we can see here there's a gap here. Okay, now I don't know if air's getting in there, I don't know if anything's coming out or in, but it just doesn't look quite right. It doesn't look like it's sealing properly. I've bought myself a load of nice genuine stainless steel Jubilee clips, actually, ones that actually have Jubilee written on them, not those horrible ones that kind of have the holes in and they cut into the hose. These are decent quality, proper Jubilee clips, and I'm going to be replacing these with the Jubilee clips. When my car was having its remap done at Empire Tuning, Gareth actually connected up a smoke machine, okay, so sort of blew smoke into the inlet, and you do that with the engine off, and it sort of almost pressurizes the inlet with smoke, and then you can see if anything's leaking out, and there were some wisps of smoke that came out, showing that things weren't sealing correct. Okay, so I'm going to be putting Jubilee clips on here. I need to also deal with some of these hoses. I'm not totally sure about these hoses. They look kind of nice, but I'm not too sure if I like these kind of short hoses here really. So I'm going to be probably dealing with those, possibly replacing them with slightly shorter metal pipes, or even just blue hoses. This one here is sort of nice and straight. That one there is sort of bent across a bit and it's not quite sitting right. So what else? The PCV there, if I show you on this one here, so I've taken the cap off here, and I've also taken the right angle off here, and I'm hoping that I can actually put a hose directly onto there. I've bought an assorted amount of hoses here. Okay, if I just move a few of these out of the way, we'll talk about those in a moment. Somewhere in here I've got some more elbows. Okay, so I've got an elbow, this one here, this is a 135 degree hose. Now this is 19mm like that. I'll have to put the camera down and see if that fits on there. I think it'll go over this bit, but it won't go over that lip there, which is a shame. But the idea is that that one could actually sort of sit in kind of like so, and take the output, instead of using that little right angle thing. If I zoom in a bit, you might be able to see it. There's a no, it's this thing here. Come on, focus. That there. There's a sort of right angle that you actually press a little button and it kind of unclips from the PCV sort of output. It's quite loose and I don't think it seals quite right, so I want to take the hose straight onto it, but the hose would have to make quite a sharp turn. It's probably more than 90 degrees, so I've bought this 135. I'm hoping that if that end goes on there, that would then sort of send it in the right direction for coming up onto here. Now these pipes here are 25mm, that's 19, so I need an enlarger. I was going to say a reducer. They call it a reducing hose, but I need it to enlarge from 19 to 25. And I'm currently using that to go on to the thing there, and that comes up down there. Okay, so not this one here, that's just an elbow there, but it's the one down in there. So I'm hoping to sort of reuse that, take it round 19mm, 135, then up to enlarge to 25 and onto this pipe here. That's that. Okay, so that's sort of improving what I did the other day. What am I going to be doing with these big pipes here? So I've got various smaller hoses and joiners and things here, and I've also got some of these big hoses. What I would like to do here is get rid of this. Okay, so this is a rigid black plastic duct that goes all the way from here down and onto the turbocharger. I'd love to throw that away and actually replace it with nice blue silicone. So to do that, I need to replace this 300, I think this is a 300mm long joiner with a 400, and I've got one of those here. That takes it along by 10 centimeters here. Then we have an elbow, so that'll be 70 down to 60, down another joiner, which is this one. I think that's the 60 to 60, another short joiner, and then round another elbow, 60 to 60 into the turbo. Why am I not taking it down as 70? Two reasons. One, it's a little bit cramped down there. There's fuel hoses and all sorts down there, so I don't think 70 is going to fit. But also, where that goes round the corner at the bottom, the turbo is it's sort of right there. Okay, so that would have to come down and be cut off, kind of really short. Okay, just to go straight onto the mouth of the turbo. So if I did a 70 to 60 down the bottom, it may not be 60 by the time I need to cut it off and actually attach it. So I'll do 60 to 60 so that I know that it'll fit on the turbo. The only other thing is this catch can comes with a bracket. Okay, hopefully you can see that. This thin bracket, you can see how that has sort of warped and bent these bits, these L-shaped bits here. It's sort of bent those downwards just under its own weight. So that bracket is just not strong enough. It's not fit for purpose. It's really struggling to support the can. So I've designed a replacement, okay, a better, stronger bracket that will really kind of clamp. It's a 3D printed, solid ABS 3D printed bracket, and that will kind of clamp tightly around the can. It won't deform at all, and it will bolt into my other bracket, the L-shaped bracket that I've also designed on the 3D printer to hold the can. Okay, so I'll be replacing that, I'll be replacing this and the can as well. I've actually got another can. This here is sort of coming out. I don't know if that's meant to be clipped in there or glued in there. It keeps on coming apart, so I'll probably certainly replace the lid with the one off the other can, okay, so that it doesn't kind of fall apart as I'm trying to take it off. The drain hose down the bottom, I need to open the tap on that and see what's been collected. Hopefully there'll be a bit of oil in there. If there isn't any, then that's a worry, because it means it's not working. So yeah, be interesting to see how much oil is collected there. Right, that is it. Introduction done. Pit Lane Kitty is out here. She's hunting in the flower bed, and she's going to help me do this. Okay, so the sun is setting. It's November now. It gets dark a bit early, about 5ish. So I will do what I can today, and then I'm going to have to carry on with this tomorrow. And the forecast is rain, so that'll be fun. Okay, so that's the catch can out. What I'm going to do now, if I just move over here and stick that like so, I've just sort of balanced the catch can on there. Let's see if we can do this. What I want to do is drain the oil out the bottom of that pipe and see if there is actually any in there. When I open the can up, there's a little bit of oil sort of around the outside, but who knows what's in this hose. Right, okay, ready? Oh, we've got some oil. That's good. Not as much as I thought. Thought there'd be more than that. Okay. Right, well, there we go. Some, but not very much. I was expecting it to have caught more than that, but it's a start. I mean, this has only been on there a couple of weeks, so yeah, I don't know if that's probably about right for a couple of weeks of oil mist. Okay, what I'm going to do now is try and remove that pipe at the back there with its sort of right angled kind of fitting. This thing here I'm trying to remove, it's a kind of right angled outlet, but it's loose, you see. It's not really kind of sealing properly. I'm worried the oil dribbles out underneath it. So if we turn it over, there is a yellow button on the back that apparently you press and it comes off. Oh, come on. Right, I'm going to have to use two hands to get this off. Okay, right, there it is. Managed to get it off eventually. I had to sort of press the button with one hand whilst wiggling it with the other, and eventually it pulled off there. Okay, so here's the 135-degree hose that's 19mm internal diameter. I've just marked that with a bit of tape where I need to cut it. The idea is that that will sit in sort of like so, yeah, onto the end of that thing there. But this bend looks like it will be exactly the right angle and shape to go round the back of that wiring loom and send it sort of upwards and forwards towards the catch can. I'll then put a 45-degree elbow on here to realign it to the can. It also needs enlarging to 25. I couldn't get an 135 elbow that did the enlarging, or reducing elbow as they call it. They only seem to do those in 45 or 90. So that's fine. I'll take it round as 19 and then join on and use the existing reducing 45 to do the enlarging to 25, and that will then level it off over here to the can. Okay, right, that's in there. It was a little bit of a job getting that 19mm over the 22mm end, but it's gone over. I'll get a Jubilee clip around that, but it's a nice tight fit, and then that pipe would just come up there round the back of the loom. It's just clearing the EGR pipe. I know this will get hot, but it's got this heat-proof kind of wrapping on it, and also it's a silicone pipe. These can handle quite high temperatures. So yeah, right, good. Okay, so now I need to start refitting the catch can. So I'm actually going to fit another one of these. Okay, so I've got another one. There's a couple of things that aren't right with this one. The pressure relief kind of thing in the top has broken off. This here, I don't believe there's actually anything inside that, but the other one seems to have something inside it, and you can actually unscrew that. So I don't know quite if they were made in different factories, or they're both from Amazon, both Masso ones, but they just seem slightly different. The bracket, so here is the revision 2.0 of the bracket, okay, and you'll notice it's got this kind of bulge at the bottom there. Okay, it's exactly the same, it's just thicker at the bottom, at the end, and the reason for that is so that it can sit nicely onto the where is it there, onto that sort of fan cover type fan surround. The other one was just missing. I mean, it was literally right on the edge. But this one with that thicker piece there, that can actually sit a bit better onto there. Okay, right, I'll get the new can out now and we'll just kind of compare it with this one. Okay, it's starting to get a little bit dark now, so what I'm going to do is put the camera on the tripod here, just do a very quick bit comparing these two catch cans, which are meant to be identical, but there are some subtle differences between them. Okay, so I'm just going to show you that, show you my new stronger bracket to replace that, and then transfer, well, not actually really transfer anything really, probably just that blue pipe will transfer across, because all of this will form the new one, this one, and the old bracket and the old kind of band that goes around it. Yeah, not much good actually, probably throw those away. Okay, so let's get the camera on the tripod. Okay, so let's try to have a look. Okay, so this one here, if I try to, yeah, the trouble is always going to go everywhere. I don't think it's possible really to show you what's down in there, but you can just about see, actually, just about see, there's kind of like a pipe bit that sticks like that, and then there's nothing. Oops. Right, okay, so behind this there's just nothing there. Okay, there's just nothing there. There's this one. This actually, oh, again. Right. Let's put that. Right, that threads on nicely. It sort of hits an end. That's good. So this one's got a sort of a rubber diaphragm thing in there. Now if I pop that off, that's just some sort of like tippy cover. And then this actually does come off. There, you can see that bit of pipe there. Okay, so that is what I'm feeling when I put the finger down there. I'm feeling that edge there. Okay, just a lip, raised lip there, and that is the same. So this has a, I don't know, it's kind of like a, I'll tell you what it is. It's like a rubber sort of diaphragm there, but that actually kind of works the other way. So it almost looks like that would sort of suction onto there and block that off. So if, let's see how this is working. So that's the intake, that's the outlet. So if, yeah, I think if a high vacuum developed on here, this is almost like a PCV valve or a crankcase depression regulation valve. So if a high depression or high vacuum built there on the intake due to, for example, a blocked air filter, that would suck that onto there, I think. Yeah, it is like a PCV. So that's good. We've got another PCV. I'm about to remove the diaphragm in my PCV valve. That will be another video. Okay, that's a whole nother video. Yeah, I'm not totally sure if I want that in there or not, really. Okay, so yeah, but it's missing from this one. I think we'll run with it. Let me just sort of, if I just blow into this, yeah, air goes through, no problem. It's only if there's a vacuum that would sort of operate and kind of block up, which I don't think it's a bad thing. It then stops it sort of applying that vacuum to the crankcase. Okay, so let's run with it. Put that back on there. We've got our drain hole, the same here at the bottom. It's like I think a 12mm hole. And now we're going to come on to this bracket. So this bracket here, you can see it's just all warped. It's so flimsy, so weak. Okay. So this one here, I mean, it's just, you know, it's just deformed under the weight of the can. And the can's not even full of oil. so that's no good at all. So I've decided to make a better one. Okay, so this is 3D printed solid ABS. It's got the correct grooves on the inside there. Okay, so I'll just show you that. So there's sort of grooves on the inside which engage perfectly with these bands here. The holes there, I forget what distance that is, I think it's 120 millimeters, but they align perfectly with this. That just kind of clamps that nice and tight around the can. How do we get this on? Well, what I've done is I've designed it so that it can just about fit over like so. Okay, there's a bit of stretch in it and it will open out and go on like that. So when that is bolted to the bracket, now let's think, how's that going to go? It's going to go like that with those pointing that way, and the bracket goes like so. Okay, so when that's bolted on there, hopefully there's just enough play in that to get those two bolts in and tightly clamp the can. Okay, and this is thick, much thicker, solid ABS. Okay, so it's flexible, it's heat proof, and yeah, shouldn't sort of deform or melt or anything else. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, because it is starting to get pretty dark now, so I'm just going to undo these and transfer those bolts across to this and put that hose on this one as well, and this one, yeah, maybe I'll just keep that as a spare. I don't know, it's a little bit expensive to just throw away, but if this one sort of suddenly decides to fall apart, then maybe keep the other one as a spare one. I'll give it a clean up. I'll give it a clean up and put it in the loft or something. So right, let's get this done. Right, old bracket, old can band, I'm going to call it. As you can see, it's warped. It's not even straight. Okay, so it's just permanently deformed. There's also this funny little kind of clippy thing here that's, well, just a bit useless really. So yeah, that'll go in the bin. If you are already running these cans, or you're thinking of fitting these cans, I'll be selling these brackets. Okay, so I'll be selling these brackets and the mount as well, probably separately. Maybe together actually. I'll probably do them as a sort of a kit with the bolts, because if you're going to fit one of these, you're going to want one of these, and if you're going to fit this with the can, you're going to want one of these. So I mean, there might be some people who have put the can somewhere else, or they've fabricated their own sort of L-shaped bracket and they just need the band. So maybe I will sell them separate. But yeah, they'll be available on my website soon, beavispits.com. And right, let's get this bolted in here. So okay, this is ready to refit to the car now. Drain pipe's come off, the drain tap has come off the end of the drain hose. Oh no, it got caught up on the sump guard. Oh flipping heck. Okay, so that catch can is now in there. The drain hose is going down there. I need to fish out the tap that fell off the end of it. It's sitting on the sump guard. I'll do that in the daylight tomorrow. Yeah, that's that. So I need a 19mm hose joiner here. Take that across with the sort of enlarging 45-degree elbow across to here. Bottom one goes across exactly like it did before and up and into the duct. I'll put the ducting on last and the air filter box in last. I'm going to leave that off for now because I want to remove this tomorrow. So in the daylight tomorrow I'll take that out. I'll probably have to take the wheel off, get into the side of the turbo, take that kind of plastic chamber off the side and look at taking the silicone hose all the way down. Right, that's it for today. Carry on tomorrow. Okay, so here we are the next day. I've had to put this back together because I needed to drive the car. I've decided to do this piece in a part 3. This video was meant to be 2 parts, but I've already filmed 2.5 hours worth of footage doing this and haven't even got onto that bit yet. So in the interest of trying to keep my videos to under an hour long, I'm going to edit down what I've filmed so far, and then anything major that I do to do that down into the turbo, I'll do that as a separate piece. Before I wrap this video up though, I just want to show you a couple of last minute little changes and things that I'm going to be doing. Okay, so this is a new elbow to replace that one that's got a sort of a dent in the bottom, which is almost a hole there, so that needs to be changed. So that's just a brand new one. I have to cut that down, put that in place of that one. For this piece here, you'll notice here that I've changed this. This was a metal pipe. Originally I had 2 sort of long metal pipes there. This one here just didn't really work because it kind of has to snake like that. This one is straight. Looked okay as a metal pipe, but I think with these 2 it just didn't look right with one of them as a metal pipe. You want both or neither at all. So I've changed that back to that. The thing that was bothering me was the little very, very short bit of hose there with 2 clamps. It just, I don't know what it was. There's something about it just didn't look right to me. Okay, so I've changed that to a long hose there. The one that goes down the back here, again, I wasn't totally happy with that, so I've got a 19mm 135 that's been sort of opened out slightly. Now, if you look at that, a 90, I mean the actual angle of that is about 100 to 110 degrees. So you either open out a 135 or you get a 90 and you just bring it in slightly. It kind of equates to the same thing. So I'm going to try to change that to a 90. The reason I'm changing it is I want to bring that up as a 25mm. Okay, so I want all of the pipework to be as big as it possibly can to allow the gas to flow well. One of the issues with my old setup was I just don't believe it was flowing as freely as it could. Okay, so we've got to bring it out as a 19 down here, okay, because that's like a 22mm sized kind of thing there. Now you can't get a 22 to 25, those sizes are just too close together. There is a bit of stretch in here. Okay, so 19 to 25 was the only one that I could find. You can't get a 22 to 25, or it only went to 19. That was the biggest smaller end size of a reducer that I could get with a 25mm output. Okay, so the 19mm does fit on there. You can see there, I'll just zoom that in there. It's a bit dark down in there, but there it is. It's on there. It's a little bit of a snug fit, but it goes on. Okay, so it's worth knowing that you can go up about 3mm on these hoses. Obviously it depends on the size of the hose really, but as a percentage that's going to be about what have we got here? Yeah, about probably 10 to 15% or so stretch. Okay, so 19 does go over 22, but that's about the limit. If I tried to just use a 25mm, I did try that, 25 to 25, it's too loose. Okay, so I've had to go for the 19. All right, you can't get a 22 to 25 reducer. Couldn't find one. Maybe they do exist. Couldn't find one by Auto Silicone hoses. Okay, so I was forced to just stretch the 19 slightly. That's on there, but it's coming up as a 19, and then I've got this funny little reducer here. So I've decided to, if I'm going to change to a 90 degree, I might as well open it up to 25 here, and then have just a 25 to 25, 45 degree here. Okay, so I'll be trimming these two down to replace that one and that one. This one here is old. Okay, so that needs changing as well. That was one of the original hoses. Okay, the old 19 to 25, 45 degree. Don't want to use that. It's got a few sort of wear marks on it and that, and it's just been on the car for years. Okay, so that needs to go in the bin. And then the 19 to 19, might be able to use that with the Webasto project, because the hose pipes for that are 19mm. Okay, so if I do need a 135 around the water pump down here behind there where the Webasto is, then I can use that for that. Okay, what else? Okay, before we get onto the bracket, new long 11mm hose to replace this one here, which I've just kind of hooked up out of the way there. This was 1/2 meter long. It just wasn't long enough to go down and out the bottom of the car, so I bought a 1 meter long, and I'll route that down and route it somewhere. I don't know yet where. Maybe out sort of behind the wheel or in front of the wheel, or even possibly across and down out of here somewhere, but it needs to have that tap on the end, which I dropped down into the darkness. It has gone down onto the sump guard somewhere underneath. I will have to take the sump guard off the bottom, find the tap. If it's still lying on there, it might have come off on the road. Find that tap, make sure I Jubilee clip both ends of that hose, okay, so that the tap doesn't fall out again, and clip the hose in. So I will work out the routing of that. I may do that in part 3, not sure yet. Let's see how we get on today, and then I need to look at the bracket. Now there's a couple of things with this bracket that I'm not happy about. So here the can is hitting the airbox, okay, so it's rubbing here. All right, so that bit, that it's actually this bit here where the screw is not there, that's rubbing. I'm not happy with that, so I'm going to move the whole can towards the front of the car by 10mm. Okay, so I've redesigned a bracket here, which you'll see if I balance that there, you'll see this distance here is less than that one down there. Okay, so let's just zoom that a bit. Yeah, so you can see that one down there has a sort of, try and point a little sort of straight bit, and this one doesn't. Okay, so this is the latest revision of the bracket. I've also put these kind of little cutouts in there to allow washers to go under the bolt heads, which this one does, but they're kind of not the right shape. Okay, so this one it's just been improved. Okay, and finally on this I've put a little tiny little loop there. You can just see. Okay, so that can take a cable tie in the side of the bracket. Why do you want a cable tie in the side of the bracket? To hook this pipe up. Okay, stop that from rubbing against anything. That can be cable tied there securely and stops it sort of wearing through or catching on anything. Okay, very important that, because that is part of the coolant system. It is under pressure. If that pipe gets worn or kinked or split, you're going to end up with red hot coolant spraying everywhere. Okay, so that's kind of it for that. The actual L-shaped bracket here, all I've done here is just extended that by about 3mm, I think, or so, just to sort of deal with this kind of step here. I wasn't happy with that, and yeah, and also the a little chamfer out of the end, okay, which sits on the fan housing. I've just lowered that slightly because this bracket just wasn't sitting level. Okay, so that just raises this end very slightly, so that will be in there perfectly kind of level in a nice L shape, not sort of sagging down like it is currently. That is it. So I'm going to do all that now quickly, and that will be it for this video. And then I've got to edit down probably 3 hours of footage, make part 2, put that up, and then very soon, maybe tomorrow or next weekend, I will get this done. I've got a lot of jobs at the moment to do. There's all this, there's glow plugs, there's the rocker cover there I want to remove, the Webasto to do, yeah, not to mention things like Haldexes, ladders and everything else. Okay, so yeah, a lot of projects to do this winter. Now today, luckily, it's a nice sort of vaguely dry sunny day and it's not too cold, but lately it's been very cold. The weather is starting to get pretty awful. It's either freezing cold or it's rainy and windy, so the amount of days that I'm going to have available where I can actually stand out here and film and do things on the car are going to be few and far between, really, I think, over the next few weeks. But I will do my best. I'll do what I can, okay? Yeah, I've got my LED bulb video to do as well, okay? That's another one which is on the list, okay? I need to do that sort of whilst it's dark, really, whilst people actually want to put LED bulbs and things in their cars. So, right, okay, let's get on with this. Right, there we go, new bracket, new clamp. The bolts on the clamp are slightly, the bolt holes are slightly further apart so that it pulls it together, grips the can really tightly. Okay, and then we've got our little loop there for that coolant hose. So that's on there. We've got this cutout now here to allow plenty of room to get to that nut, allowing a washer to go under it as well. So we've got some M6 bolts. I think these are, how long are these? About 35mm, I think. And stainless bolts, stainless nuts, stainless washers above and below. And then we have one more here to bolt that to the car. I'll just show you what we've got here. So that's in there now. I've noticed a slight problem. There's this radius here is just not quite clearing this lip on this piece of plastic here. So what I'll do is I'll adjust the design slightly so that that radius is a little bit sharper and slightly further down. It just needs about a millimetre or so down there. You can see if I point with the screwdriver, it is, right, let's find the right place, there it is, just here, just there, it's just not quite clearing, but the bracket is in there. Okay, so that is sat quite nicely on top of that. That's in there, that's solid and level. It's just once that clearance is made better, that will pull in a little bit better and sit slightly nicer on top of the fan housing. Everything else is clearing. Most importantly, is it clearing the fan blades? And it's just, yeah, no problems there. Now we have this coolant pipe, so that will cable tie there. I'll do that right now, so that it's in the right place before I start connecting up the pipes, the other pipes. Right, okay. There's a very tight gap there. That is, it is clearing. It's tight. It's about 3mm, but it's in there. Okay, so that is now pulled that way, 10mm. So should be a bit of clearance now between it and the airbox, hopefully. Good, right. Okay, let's get that cable tie in. Let me put the camera back on the tripod. Right, I think that's in the position. It just needs sort of tightening up so that it holds it like that. Okay. Right, let's get the bottom pipe in now, which needs to kind of come up. So. Before I put the airbox back in, I need to deal with this drain hose and extend that down. So let's have a little look here. I'll show you. Down there you can see a gap, okay, between the inner wheel arch and the sump guard, and that comes out. If I put the pipe down there, okay. I'll just put it loosely. Right, so that comes out there, okay. So that is just there, tubally clipped on there, and it's just cable tied just here to this wiring loom there, and that then goes off down through the hole. Down here, there's obviously way too much sticking out, okay, so I will cut that off flush with the underside of the car, and then when it comes to drain time, all I need to do is just release that. I can always use a releasable cable tie there, just cut that or undo that, and that then allows the pipe to hang down low enough to get a cup and, you know, open the valve and drain out whatever's in there. Okay, that is it. Okay, that's it for part 2. This is all back together now. I'm going to do that pipe in part 3. All of this is done. We've got the new bracket and mount here. There's now a bit of clearance here, which is quite nice. It means that the lid can easily be undone. Okay, so that's all there, ready to catch some oil. The drain pipe comes out the bottom. It's just connected or just secured here with a releasable cable tie, and that then just pokes out the bottom somewhere. Where is it? There it is. There it is. You can just see that blue thing there. It's just got a 12mm or M12 bolt just screwed into the end of the pipe for now. It's a tight fit in the end of the pipe, and it just means I can almost treat it like a drain plug and just undo it. I will be putting that little tap on there when I retrieve it from the bottom of the engine, wherever it's gone. But for now, that's fine, that'll do. These hoses are all in here. So if I just run through very quickly now what we've got here. Okay, so big pipes here, 60-degree bend here, not 45. 45 doesn't work, must be a 60. 70mm to 70mm. Jubilee clips here are, or whatever size they are. I think they're sort of 75 to 85. I'll put the size of those up at the bottom of the screen now. They're around 75mm plus or minus 5mm. Okay, so we've got the big Jubilee clips here, right? 70mm 90-degree bend here. Currently a 300mm aluminium joiner, soon to be a 400. Okay, so when I do this pipe I'll put 400. This is just a straight bit of 70mm pipe there. I think it's about 100mm long, probably maybe 80mm long. Okay, on the smaller pipes here, so the one coming out of there is 19 to 25, reducing 90-degree elbow. The Jubilee clip there is, I think, a 22 to 25. I'll put it up at the bottom of the screen. Okay, I'll put it at the bottom of the screen now. These ones here are slightly larger. Okay, so we've got a short 100mm 25mm joiner there, 100mm long, 25mm outer diameter, and then 25 to 25, 45-degree elbow there. Okay, so these Jubilee clips 1, 2, 3 and 4 are all the same. This one and this one, that one, and all the others coming up here are all the same. Okay, I'll put the size of those up at the bottom of the screen now. They are, I think, 25 to 35mm, but I will check and I will put that up. Okay, so bottom here we've got a straight bit of 25mm hose, same as this, virtually the same, pretty much exactly the same length actually. That's sort of about probably about 20, yeah, about 20 centimeters long. Okay, another short joiner elbow coming up, 90 degree, 25mm internal diameter, short joiner, and another 90 degree 25mm elbow there into this, which is 70mm with a 25mm stub sticking out, or spigot sticking out of it. Okay, that's that. Okay, the catch can is a Masso catch can available from Amazon. I have ordered a load of these. Okay, so I will be putting these with the brackets on sale soon. If you've already got one of these and you just want the bracket or even just the band, I'll be putting the various combinations on my website. Okay, so I will sell the can with the band and the mount. I will also sell the mount and the band separately if you've already got the can. Some of you have mounted the can elsewhere, you see, so I've seen other installations, so some people put it over there. So you probably don't want this L-shaped bracket, you probably just want this improved band, as I'm calling it, the clamp, basically the bit that goes round the can. Okay, so I'll sell all the various bits either separately or all together on my website, beaverspits.com. And yeah, that kind of concludes part 2. I can't think of anything else that I need to do today. It's starting to get a little bit dark now, so I'm going to go in, edit this video. It's going to be about 4 hours of footage edited down and try and get it under an hour. There's going to be a lot of stuff that gets chopped out and left on the cutting room floor, but yeah, well, you know, people say that I need to keep my videos down a bit in length, so yeah, some of the detail will get left behind, but I will try to include all the important bits. Right, that is it. That's it for now. Part 3 coming up soon. This weekend I'll try and do part 3 with the downpipe. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in part 3. Thank you. Bye.